As a petrol head, tyres are pretty important to me because it doesn't matter how good your engine is, how good your suspension is, how good your car setup is. There are 4 things holding it to the tarmac, and if they're not very good, your car won't be very good. And because tyres are also important for saving your life, the producers here at OnlyMotors quite like them too. So, I've got my driving shoes on, and I'm going to give you a review of Falken's brand new FK453s, which I'm told are pretty good. That's the passenger side. The producers wanted me to tell you about Falken. Well, thanks to some pretty high-profile motorsport sponsorship and pictures of Porsche racing cars emblazoned on lorries that drive around on the motorway, you're probably already aware of the brand. But very briefly, they're a Japanese tyre manufacturer with a European base in Frankfurt, and their mission statement reads roughly like, "We are taking over the world." You might be familiar with the term track day, which basically consists of petrol heads driving their cars around at a weekend on UK race circuits. A market opened up for products to improve the performance of road cars while not compromising on practicality, safety or insurance. One such market? Tyres. So the leading manufacturers came up with a bunch of tyres which were track focused, they were also road legal, and they were also pretty expensive and wore out pretty fast. What happened next was more interesting to the majority of people who go to track days. Innovation happened. A certain number of tyre companies decided they'd produce an alternative to these track-focused tyres, which basically were performance tyres that could be used on a track with performance gains, but also very much characteristics of tyres that you or I would use to go shopping with. The FK453 is a performance tyre which can be used on a racetrack, but is most at home on the road, making performance cars feel awesome. But what are they like? Well, firstly, listen to this. Pretty quiet. One problem with track-focused tyres, and anyone who's driven on racing tyres will tell you they're very noisy. But Falken have really worked on these tyres and engineered them so that they're very quiet, which I think is important because you don't always want to be reminded that you're driving on performance tyres. Tyres just need to be there and do their job well. And these do. Secondly, this car has a 2-litre turbo which is producing just over 200 brake horsepower and lots of torque through the front wheels. And although I'm testing the car in road conditions, it's not top speed that gives a true test of tyres. It's torquey cornering, accelerating around country roads. Falken developed these tyres at the formidable Nürburgring in Germany, but it's the sort of driving that you'll probably be able to relate to if you own a performance car. So this is where it really matters. Falken FK453 versus German brute force. The Falken FK453 has already made a very successful motorsport debut, with Falken's UK drift team retaining the championship on these very tyres. So we know it's good on track, but it's how good the tyre performs on the road that is key to the success of a performance road tyre. No matter how much we may want to drive on racetracks, most of the time, this is where we as petrol heads spend our time. Falken have improved the performance of these tyres in dry weather by 25%, but crucially, they've improved performance in wet conditions by over 30%. It's very good. If I tell you that we replaced the tyres on this Audi A5 with the Falken FK453s, And the tyres that were on before were big brand and big cost, and these are better. I think that's a big win for Falken. Now, I would love to be able to tell you what these tyres were like around the Nürburgring, but unfortunately for me, our producers realised that somebody at Falken had already tested that. So I got the leafy lanes of Berkshire. But here's the thing, if you drive a performance car, if you quite like your B roads, you quite like saving money, and you might just visit a track day or two in the near future, then get yourself a set of Falken FK453s, and I bet you revisit this review and hit like